Can't see for over here.
You can't really?
No.
Shit, can we?
No, we put it in the fire. End of day 4. The video camera did run out of battery, but Callum and Nick took it away, charged it up and gave it back. Due to circumstances at home, I'm having to cut my trip short. There's 2 days left and Stu is staying on like a soldier.
Indeed, yeah. So today we made apparently a really good shelter, and we also made a catapult. Those were 2 of the objectives we had to make today. So we did well. We also have leached our hazelnuts in the stream. So tomorrow morning we're going to have a go at making some kind of porridgey paste out of those. Let you know how that goes. Apart from that, yeah, a successful day. Apart from we trapped nothing, but we were told this was going to be the hardest day,
Which we both found to be extremely easy.
I think we're too preoccupied with building a shelter to actually worry about eating.
It was that way, it was. We did go out to the river today. We set some bait out in the river.
Yeah. Tim barely, well, missed slightly. Well, you did miss.
Yeah, I missed.
Missed a crayfish that was chomping away on our guts from our rabbit from the day before. So need to come up with a better method of catching crayfish rather than trying to spear them. They do seem to be a little bit small for the spears we've made.
Yeah.
So maybe you try and catch them in a plastic canister. That'll be the next thing to do.
Or you could fashion a smaller spear for dinner. Yeah, still no luck on day 4. Still no luck with that fish, which I believe to be actually a catfish, because when I saw it earlier, when I was standing on the other side of the bank, I saw its whiskers. I saw some sort of whiskers. So I think it is a catfish. I could be wrong, but catfish are primarily bottom feeders, aren't they?
Yes.
You right?
Yep.
So the kind of bait we need needs to hit the bottom. We need a couple of weights on the fishing line so we can get the hook down the bottom as well. Which I believe we have. We have ball bearing weights that they gave us what we found on the first day, but we haven't really utilised any of the stuff that we've been given on the first day, apart from the torch, the knife. The knife I've a hell of a lot of use. Oh! Chuck me a spoon. Not in the fire, not in the fire. Hey! This is, I don't know if you can see it very well. Stu will have to show you in the morning. Fuck you, fire! But this is, I don't know, you can't really see it. Yeah, do it in the morning. But he quite happily fashioned a really nice spoon as we mush up our apples again. And yeah, these worked really well. And apples went down a treat again. We tried it with some rosehip today. Made a little difference, a tiny difference, but I think we need.
Effort, I don't think.
Nah, not worth the effort. If you're gonna do it, you need a lot more. I mean, I only maybe got about 3 dozen rosehip. What are they called? Berries. That's the one. Berries. That's the word I was looking for. But yeah. Other than that, day 4 has been really successful. We've successfully got starved. Had some apples. Yeah, it's been a good day. Oh yeah, we have no Snickers left. We managed to go through that.
We had mashed potato.
Yeah, we had mashed potato. We had smash, as they called it.
Smash.
And that filled a hole at the end of the day.
Picked us up.
That was really nice. What else did we have today that picked us up? It was the hot chocolate this afternoon.
Hot chocolate,
Yeah, we finished the last packet of hot chocolate today. We had half a pack this afternoon and half a pack tonight. Which stupidly, I forgot was in my cup when we went out to see the crayfish, and I poured it away because I thought it was water, like a twat. But other than that, day 4 has been a success. I'm going home in the morning, and
I'm going to see what the next 2 days hold in store for me.
yeah, Callum and Nick are going to look after Stu. Not that he needs much looking after, he's doing really well, like stupidly well. I feel kind of bad that I haven't done much.
Fair enough.
But yeah, that concludes day 4.
So, day 5, and thankfully the traps caught something last night, a pheasant and a rabbit. So for breakfast this morning we are having some boiled pheasant for now, and then we're going to actually spit roast it later over the fire with the turning fork. And we're currently cooking pheasant liver and heart, I believe. I've got the water filtration thing working in a better position now. It's you know, you don't have to hold it or tie a rag around it. It's just at the right height in the TP, so it just drains into the bottle like that. I think that one's complete.
Beautiful, man.
We have also we've got the rabbit to dispatch later on today, and we'll be shortly grinding up the acorns to make some kind of flour, or maybe some paste, make some kind of porridge out of that, I believe. Need to get some more wood today, as we burnt quite a few of the logs last night. Now I've got the roasted pheasant, or the pheasant roasting rather, nicely on the fire. Sexy.
Yeah, but check this out.
The automatic choke
It's a work of art.
So yeah, and then
what you're gonna do? You're gonna have like
I don't know, yeah.
where you're gonna put your strips of meat over here, yeah. Then what you really want to do is you want to try and have the grass coming down just a bit more.
As well to keep it in.
Yeah, just to keep it
focuses it up.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have some more. So here we have the remnants of the hazelnuts that were mashed up earlier by the action of just going around the tin and crushing them up like that. So that's how that was performed. Maybe wait for Callum and Nick to come down and advise on what's the best thing to make out of this, given the fact I've never made it before. So it might be some kind of dough or bread, or maybe some porridge. I don't know. We'll wait and see. Anyway, that's how that was done. So here we have, I think it's Royal Albert cake. Apparently it grows on fallen ash trees. You can see that there. And it's very light. If it's relatively heavy, about the weight of a stone, then it's probably been soaked up water. But these grow on the underneath of fallen ash trees. So apparently you can get it going with a still. So I've crushed one up to get a bigger surface area, and we'll have a go and see if we can get a fire still to actually light it. Oh. See that? We have an ember, so it does work. So today, day 5, after catching rabbit and partridge this morning. Tonight's tea consists of, you can see that, partridge and rabbit patties, which were ground up ground up to a kind of a mush, and then formed into patties and then fried on the fire. And also to accompany that from the ration pack, a packet of mash, and then following that to accompany me for dessert, I'm going to be having stewed apples and some blackberries to go with it. And as we're closing to the end of the course, I'm going to treat myself to a can of Coke as well. So there we go. Now for dessert, here we have stewed apples and blackberries. Very nice. Okay, so